Okay, it's big interview time. Kind of. Took 19 episodes to break in case of emergency. Steve Matthes from PulpMX is joining us on the show. I guess we've run out of good ideas. Steve, it is at least a very close and exciting championship, so we can talk about that. Maybe Glendale wasn't quite the barn burner race we were hoping for, but overall this season has been unbelievable, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I'm surprised that you guys ran out of guests this early. Very surprising. But yeah, good guest. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it Glendale wasn't great. Triple Crowns usually deliver. This one was just whatever. But the season has been fantastic, right? It's just been amazing. And then kind of when you start seeing the championship guys rise up and we start seeing some separation, now Justin Barcia's in the mix and riding better than ever, right? And we're still waiting on Anderson. And of course, Sexton can win anytime. I think Sexton's out of this thing. I know some people don't, but I just don't see him having the ability to jump two all-timers with the last few remaining races to go. But it's been great. And then Barcia kind of coming on has really added something to it because, as we all know, he's pure entertainment. It's been a great season. It really has. It's cool to watch these guys push each other to the limit. The level is high. And then don't forget about the 94. He can seemingly pull off something at some point.
Steve, when you look at the field right now, you said Barcia, Anderson, all these names. Obviously, the focus in the championship is between the two. So what's your thoughts on Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac having to deal with these guys that are still hungry, chasing contracts, having success? It seems to me like we have a two-rider fight for the title, but there's like these moving obstacles that are going to play a role here all the way to the end.
Yeah, I agree, right? These guys, none of them want anything to do with Bam Bam. They're not involved. They don't want to deal with it. We saw Cooper this weekend ride pretty tensely around him. But, I mean, look, these two guys, I mean, Eli's got the wins, but Cooper just does his Cooper Webby things, and he pulls it off, and he makes it happen. Both of these guys have such strengths and strengths going forward with the rest of the races that you're kind of looking at them as pretty even, right? If Eli can nail these starts, which he did in Glendale, then things may change from there. But I don't know, man. You look at the strengths of both of these riders, and I don't know who's going to give first. Those 7 points at Glendale are huge, right? Going forward, that's going to be tough for Coop to kind of chip away at that. But guess who's had some weirdo races? Yeah, Eli Tomac, right? So why can't it happen one more time? Just off on the day, set up. His neck is sore again. I don't know. But to me, when I'm looking at it, like, I just flip a coin, man. I don't know. I guess I'm going with Tomac because I said that beginning of the year, but really, seriously, flip a coin between these two guys. You got to think this weekend's track in Atlanta, Cooper Webb will be right back at home looking to make up some time.
Perhaps even more intriguing than the championship is almost every top rider's contract is up, and there are so many rumors about who's going where and switching teams for next year. So if you remember Supercross last year, the biggest story was Eli Tomac switches teams better than ever. Jason Anderson switches teams better than ever. Most people had multi-year deals, so we're back into that cycle headed into 2024. Honestly, Steve, this might be the wildest silly season. Christian Craig, multi-year deal. Adam Cianciarulo, multi-year deal. And we think Barcia's going to re-sign with Gas. That's it. Everybody else up for grabs still.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts, right? And Barcia just confirmed the 2-year deal like last week on the PulpMX show. So we're looking at, yeah, everyone's open, right? But from what I hear from behind the scenes, it still all starts with that Tomac guy. I didn't think he was coming back for SMX and the outdoors, and he committed to it. And so now, what does he do for 2024? Everyone's kind of waiting on that. We know Cooper Webb used to ride for that team and is tight with the owner. From what I hear behind the scenes, it's all based on what Tomac does, and then the chips will fall after that. I think if Tomac stays there, then Cooper Webb's going to stay at KTM. We think Chase Sexton moves over there. I believe that's a done deal. And then if Eli doesn't come back, I think Cooper Webb ends up back at his old team at Star Yamaha, and the chips will fall from there. But Aaron Plessinger is certainly one guy that's waiting to see what happens because that KTM, we don't know if they're going to carry 3 guys or not. So, yeah, like you said, you guys, there's a lot to get into, and it's going to be interesting to see. I find my listeners, people that read my stuff, people that listen to my stuff, they can't get enough of this. I know it bugs the crap out of the teams and the riders in the pits, but frankly, I don't care. The people want this. The fans of the sport want to hear what's going on behind the scenes, and I try to dish it out, much to the anger of some people in the pits.
Steve, if the 450 class is a waiting game for Eli Tomac, right? You start at the top and you work your way down. Then explain the 250 class where you have guys heading out. So now a void at the top. I'm hearing Shimoda and Kitchen and all these guys getting offers everywhere. Let's talk 250 for a sec.
Yeah, I definitely think Levi Kitchen and Joe Schmoder are the top of the heap right now for that on going forward. Poor Mitch Payton right now. He can't seem to keep his guys healthy and on the track, and he might lose his star, Joe Schmoder, to Honda from what I hear. The Honda guys, as you guys know, they can do their own clothing deals. They can do their own helmet deals. Financially, if Honda wants you in a 250 bike, and that's only applies to the 1% in this class, you have to go there. It's a great team, great bike, and then financially you can make so much more money. Levi Kitchen's going to go, I believe, to KTM, and then it'll start falling forward from there. I think Bobby Weigandt has a spot or two open, and it kind of goes, via in that class, the bike is so important, so everyone's going to try to go over to Star if they can after Shimoda and Kitchen.
Hey, look, you casually mentioned something that we've been hearing about, honestly, since last summer, which is that Chase Sexton is going to go to Red Bull KTM. I have heard a few rumors. I actually heard recently that Cowie has now been talking to people, maybe Webb, maybe Sexton, just to see if they're available, which that's going to be Anderson's spot because Cianciarulo is already signed for next year. So, but despite all that talk, with Cowie looking around, you still think Sexton is KTM next year?
Yeah, I think Kawasaki reached out to Cooper Webb and was kind of seeing what was going on. But from what I hear, Cowie was like, you have to stay in California full time. That's part of the deal. And that was the deal breaker. And so that's not going to happen. I don't know if there was ever an offer or just informal talks. But yes, I think Sexton goes to Red Bull KTM. I know people in the media don't want to talk about it. People don't want to ask Chase about it. And I get that. I'm not going to ask Chase about it either. It's a weird situation because there's a letter of intent there from what I know. And somebody could step in, Honda could step in and change things up if he wanted to. But yeah, I think he's going to Red Bull KTM. That'll be interesting. And I think if everything went perfect this Supercross season, maybe he could get out of that letter of intent. Honda could match it, all the things that legally Honda can do on a contract wise. But with Chase Sexton seemingly having some weird issues and crashing, I got to believe him and his family and his camp are looking for a fresh start on a bike that they, feel doesn't throw him away late in the race.
Yeah, and then you have Jet Lawrence moving to the Honda 450 squad next year, but then we also are going to have the question of who's going to be with him. Is his brother going to move up also? Will Honda still need a second 450 guy if Sexton's out? So still a lot of questions that are to be answered between now and 2024. But again, regrettably, I got to say, Steve, you did a pretty good job here. So thanks for the info.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I look forward to maybe being a weekly guest. What do you think? Weekly?
No, we got to move on. Cut the camera. Time to wrap up this episode of SMX Insider. Championship rolling to Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is interesting. It's a day race, so adjust your clocks here, everybody. Race day live will start at 9:30 a.m. Good luck with the early rehearsal and show up time there, Daniel. This is all to have a 3 o'clock window live on NBC, which is always huge for the sport.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.